hardly affected by use of drugs. And the reason why Operation Ondoa Jangili and Operation Furusha Wahalifu from this area has focused on this issue of drugs. You remember when His Excellency the President visited here, that was a very big issue. It was a very pronounced issue. And we continue with the operations. We are focusing on the bigger traders, the traffickers, and as you can see that these drug traffickers are very heavily armed. Some targeting our to get to Nairobi, to get to Mombasa, and also international ferrying of these drugs through our international airports. And therefore, Isiolo remains a place of utmost concern when it comes to dealing with this issue. Number two is we also have the problem of dealing with terrorists and characters who are trying to recruit young people into terrorism. Again, this is a place of utmost concern for the Republic of Kenya, and our security forces, including our intelligence officers, have been on high alert to make sure that they deal with all those characters that are operating in this very area. If you know, Isiolo is one of the most cosmopolitan small towns in the country, perhaps the most cosmopolitan town which is not a city. And therefore it comes with its own various challenges and characters who like to take advantage of this cosmopolitan nature of this area to carry out terrorist activities. And again, a number of characters have been arrested from this Isiolo and they are facing the law. We also have, of course, the issue of banditry. Isiolo is at the center between Meru and the other parts of Samburu and Laikipia. And as you know, the biggest problem that's facing Meru is that most of these criminals or bandits try to pass through this area. And a lot of work is being done by the security forces here. As you know, the population of Isiolo is smaller, but the landmass is massive. It's among the top 10 biggest counties by landmass. And therefore, manning some of the routes becomes a big challenge, especially in the absence of proper infrastructure. But our security forces are doing everything possible to ensure that those routes are closed. Most of the parts have been closed, and that's why there's relative peace on the part of the side of Meru. But there are two corners on the far end of Mailisaba, this side, and towards facing these sides of Garissa, Garbatula, on this other end. And we are doing there is some work that is being done to make sure that those areas are closed. You know that we have had a very good support also. Our security forces have received great support from the National Police Reservice, whom we have deployed in the recent past, and we have a backlog of about 200 to 300 of them, and we are assessing the right areas, identify the people, recruit them so that they can assist the security forces. We are also organizing the NPR properly so that their command is clear and they report to the OCSs, and the chiefs will have to account for their whereabouts. And we want to make sure that also those who we recruit do not collude with criminals or bandits in this area. The other issue of great concern here is intercommunal conflict. For now, we have had very relative peace in this area, but remember that there is a lot of challenges in this area because of sometimes political competition. And we see cases of political actors trying to come up with their political gangs, and in the process shouting themselves down in public barazas and meetings, trying to outdo each other by each one of them having some kind of political gangs. Again, the security forces have been on high alert in dealing with this issue, sometimes at the risk of all these attacks and public berating of the security officers here. But I have assured them that they have maximum support of the ministry as they do their work. They should not allow themselves to be interfered with politically, because it is important that we bring sanity and order in this area. Considering the cosmopolitan nature of Isiolo, we do not wish that these leaders engage in acts that are going to undermine security. And I have engaged them myself, and we will continue engaging them from the ministry perspective, just the same way I said in Marsabit, that as we approach elections, some politics and political leaders become a threat to peace. And it is important that we engage them as early as possible. We'll be having even other meetings in the near future with the leaders to make sure that they sign up to keep peace even as they campaign for different positions. We want to make sure that this place remains peaceful so that political competition does not lead to loss of life. Those are some of the things we are focusing on in Isiolo. Other than that, this is a very important area with various challenges, vast land, poor infrastructure, which contributes immensely to the issue of banditry, because the connection between Isiolo and Samburu, for example, is very poor, and some wards like Oldonyiro, they are inaccessible, and it's important that we continue bringing this to the fore, so that our relevant ministries can invest in these areas, and we believe that security roads will play a significant role in dealing with insecurity. For example, the road between Isiolo, Modakashe, Kulamawe road is extremely important, and as you know, that road goes all the way to Mandera. And we appreciate the work of His Excellency the President so far in improving infrastructure in marginalized areas, because that is how best we can deal with insecurity issues in this area. Asante sana. I think that is really the summary of what's happening here in Isiolo. Any question? I'll take like three. Yes.
Given the presence of arms in the wrong hands in the region, are we likely also to witness a disarmament exercise probably?
It is the ongoing. When I say operation, that operation involves disarmament. The ongoing operation has led to confiscation of 58 guns in the last 1 year. And as you can see, some of the guns are here displayed here. Some of the ammunitions are here. Some have already been forwarded to Nairobi for onward transmission for destruction. And so that operation includes removing firearms from the wrong hands. It will continue. Like I have said, and I want to continue saying this, that our biggest challenge as a country is our porous border. And the closer the county is to the border, the more the guns are available because of this proliferation of small arms. Even as we do the operations, we are alive to the fact that until we cover most of our border points across, we will continue having the challenge of criminals trafficking or proliferating or transporting guns and ammunition through our border to our inland.
If you could allow me, I'll just break them down. There's one question, but it's related. One is, what is the progress of the operationalization of the administrative units that were promised by your predecessor, now our deputy president? Recently you had spoken about it, but our people are concerned, when is it going to start? Secondly, we've had a special unit deployed towards the northern region, Isiolo borders Nero. Previously the MP for Gembe North shared some allegations that there are some officers who are using excessive force on the president. They claim there was one who was killed allegedly by the officers, and even went ahead and said the IG should withdraw those officers from that case. Is this something that you're investigating? And lastly, our Isiolo residents are concerned that in most cases they feel that the system is infiltrated by the politicians. When it comes to maybe recruitment of chiefs, recruitment of NPRs, what assurance can you give our people that when those positions are open, that it will be transparent, people who are qualified are not going to be picked, and our leaders are not going to impose people who are leaning towards their side or their supporters?
First, let me say that on the part of the last, I'm forgetting the first one, but on the last question, you're talking about the issue of political interference. Is very true. We receive an influx of all kind of political leaders who want to influence hiring of the chiefs and the assistant chiefs, and we have been very firm. We've told the county commissioners, regional commissioners to remain very firm, to make sure that those chiefs who are going to be hired are not pledging their allegiance to their political leaders, because then that they will lose meaning, because one of the reasons why in some countries the public service is not stable is when it is wavering based on who is in political office at any given time. So we'll remain very firm, even when the next hiring is done. It must be done transparently, involving public participation. I have been receiving in some instances of other counties petitions from the community, for example, saying that the person who has been hired does not have the integrity to govern or to be a chief or an assistant chief, and as such we have always returned some of these issues for further investigation. Remember also, we benefit from also intelligence reports about what has happened and what's going on, so we are not blind. By the time the letter is being issued by public service, we will have done our homework all the way to the city, and we'll try our best to make sure that as much as possible political interference is not part and parcel of our considerations, and especially when we are appointing. There will be cases where perhaps we will make mistakes. The political interference will succeed, but we don't want it to be the norm. And in those cases, even when they succeed, we want to find ways of correcting it. On the question of deployment of Form W units and security officers between Isiolo and Meru to take care of security issues, I want to confirm that our concern is to deal with all criminals equally. Unfortunately, everybody depending on their county and their region, everybody would like to defend, people who have illegal firearms in their own part of the county for as long as it is their people. But if it is another part, they would like to see that those guns are confiscated. I want to say that this is not a problem only confined here. It's all over. In the entire of Kerio Valley region, every time we do operations, leaders are unhappy if it is people from their community having illegal guns whom we are targeting, but they are happy if it is targeting another community. And we want to become consistent, we want to become impartial, we want to make sure that, and I want to assure the people of this county, Meru, Kerio Valley region, that we are not targeting any community, we are only targeting criminals. And by the way, I will be making this statement later, once properly advised by the IG, but in reality, the people of Meru should know that there are criminals in Meru who are colluding with the criminals in Samburu, that those called raiders are not blindly coming to Meru. They have their own collaborators inside Meru itself. So even as you defend people who are supposedly from your own county, just know that you are also living with the enemy. That's why they come precisely to a particular place. They know how to follow routes where the police officers are not there, or the NPR. They even report as to where the NPR are, include the strength of those NPR, because these are collaborators. So I don't want any leader to defend criminals if they are in their own county, because they are the ones that, contribute to this problem. This is the case. In Kerio Valley, for example, there is a very close working relationship between Marakwet bandits and Pokot bandits. Very close working relationship. They talk to each other, they report each other. When each is raiding the other side, the others, and they share the loot. They share the cows when they get and so forth. So be very careful. I want to tell leaders, be very careful when you are defending criminals that are within your own county. They actually could be the ones who are the real raiders, because they know the places, they know the... So let's leave the security officers to do their job the best way they know. But of course, where there is excessive force, as a matter of fact, where police officers use excessive force, we have been very open to the public that we will not shield an officer, including the ones who are aiding stealing of livestock, raiding, banditry, drugs. You know that we have arrested police officers for covering up drug traffickers and participating in the... So we have arrested some are undergoing the investigation at the disciplinary. We have arrested county officials from this county. We have arrested national government officials. We have arrested doctors, clinical officers, nurses who have been assisting criminals. So we are not going to cover anybody. That will be firm. The last question, which was your first question, was...
Operationalization of the
Yes, the administrative units. I want to say that we, as I've already said, we are asking for about 2.5 billion shillings to operationalize all the gazetted administrative units in the country. The little resources we got in supplementary the other day, we are distributing trying to operationalize, starting with security areas, but also the ones that were gazetted a long time ago in 2017, 2018, and then we will continue doing this together. And I have praised the Parliament, I praised the leaders. Everybody knows what we are supposed to do, but I know two sub-counties here which are extremely important for security are due for operationalization, and soon I will be coming back here with the leadership of this area to unveil the new sub-counties. Tuachie hapo. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much.